brother, brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right on. Right on. Right on. Everybody thinks we're at home. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know we've got to find a way. Bring some understanding here today. Oh, oh, oh. Picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me.
I was born by the river, ooh, in a little tent. And just like this river, I've been running. I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, and I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movies and I go around town. Somebody's always telling me, don't you hang around. It's been a long, 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 long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. So I go to my brother, and I asked him, brother, could you help me please? He said, I'd like to but I'm not able. When I looked around, I was right back down on my knees. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I go to my brother, and I asked him, brother, could you help me please? He said, I'd like to, but I'm not able. When I looked around, I was right back down on my knees. Yes, I was. There's been times and I thought I couldn't last for long, but somehow right now I believe that I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Thank you so much, Tony and Rabbi Greg Wall, for your wonderful opening number. Good evening. Thank you for being with us here on Zoom tonight. We are super excited and pleased to see so many of you participating on this wonderful night. For those of you who we haven't had the chance to meet, I am Mindy Siegel, and next to me is Deborah Hockhauser. We are the co-chairs of the Federation. It warms our hearts to see so many of you here to honor 4 very special and deserving individuals. These 2 couples exhibit kindness and generosity towards our Jewish community, both here at home as well as abroad. We are so happy to be able to share this special evening with these truly exceptional honorees. Being together virtually tonight is a perfect example of the collective impact we can make as a Jewish federation and as an extended Jewish family. We should all follow the examples of our wonderful honorees and continue to be inspired to help those in need, respond generously to crises, and shape and nourish our Jewish community. We hope that tonight's positive energy and enthusiasm will keep you excited, and we encourage you to stay engaged and enriched by the Federation's meaningful efforts. Deb?
Good evening. We acknowledge that this event is not how we initially envisioned, but are so proud and pleased that we can all be here together tonight. Since this shelter-in-place mindframe has begun in March, Mindy and I have been in constant contact with each other and have made a point to share and discuss our personal silver linings of this pandemic. For example, we have talked about the fact that this time with our families has been wonderful. From board games to movie nights, it's an amount of together time we will most likely never have again. We both have had time to read more, try new recipes, which hopefully you all will after tonight, and let our hair grow out. My family even got a puppy. Importantly, we both have gotten in touch with friends and family we might not have if not for the free time we found ourselves with. We have also spent time reaching out to various members of our Federation family. To this end, we wanted to share a poem with you which reflects on the question of how do we socially distance ourselves to prevent the spread of the virus without emotionally distancing ourselves in the process. It is written by Lynn Unger. Miss Unger described this poem as a viral poem about a virus. As it has gone viral, some of you might already heard it, but we thought it was worth sharing. As we open ourselves to less restrictions, going to the hair salon, restaurants, and the like, we hope that you could reflect back on this time and focus on the silver linings as we have. This poem is called Pandemic by Lynn Unger. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands, reach out your heart, reach out your words, reach out all tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as you shall live. I hope you enjoyed. We wanted to remind you also that the chat feature is open, so if you want to comment, we encourage you to do so. You could use it to send your remarks or comments. Thank you for being here. We now have a short video and a special video for you. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm David Broza, and I would like to congratulate Elise, Henry, Jane, and Bob for the contribution to the community. And I do remember in Israeli Independence Day, on the 60th anniversary, when I came out to play there. And I look forward to playing again. Meantime, congratulations. היא התחתנה והיא מאושרת, למרות שבעלה היה משת בפרק, כל הזמן מצורך, קבוע, והוא אפילו לא אומר מדוע. 3 שנים שהיא מקבלת מגבר זר מתחת דלת, מכתבי שירה אליה, מאירים את אלומיה. מי זה כותב לך ילדון, גלי מי שולח? זר פרחים סגול כשהאביב פורח, מי בתשיעי בכל נובמבר, מי ברכה בשם רמז, שולח לך סיגליות בזר קשור בסרט. שרי לי, שרי לי, שרי לי, 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 שרי לי, שרי לי. Congratulations.
Elise and Henry, we want to congratulate this honor you're receiving. It is so, so well deserved. I want to share 2 quotes that I think provide great insight into how Bob and Jane have become so integral to our community. The first is Meyer Angelou, who said, when you do nothing, you feel overwhelmed and powerless. But when you get involved in your community, you feel a sense of hope and accomplishment that comes from knowing you are working to make things better. The second is from one of our presidents who said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more and become more, you are a leader. Getting involved, working for the better, inspiring through action and leadership. These elements are at the core of what this special couple has brought to our community over many years, and why they have been both recognized again and again as examples of the best that we can be for each other. At the root of Bob's service to our community are the same talents that made him a respected certified public accountant and tax advisor. Organizational skills, accountability, reliability, strong ethics, and a deep sense of understanding of all things financial. Bob was instrumental in the formation of the Jewish high school in Connecticut, working on its finances. He played the same role at the men's club at junior senior services. But if there is a quintessential example of Bob's putting his unique abilities to work in the community, it would be his taking the reins of the Bridgeport Jewish Community Center in the 1980s on an emergency basis when the chief executive became ill. It was an extremely difficult time for the center financially, and somehow Bob, without any special management training as a Jewish professional, found a way to hold things together for well over a year until a new executive could be engaged. I do have more. From that experience, Bob emerged with a strong sense that the Federation and the greater Jewish community needed a more focused planning process for the future. And he was central in creating the Thriving Jewish Community Initiative, a year-long study of the community that led to an overall community plan. No less engaged or impactful, our friend Jane has forged her own important leadership role in the community. A self-described worker bee, she is so much more than that. Jane is a natural problem solver who attacks every task with enthusiasm and imagination. First and foremost, she is passionate about education. Jane served the Trumbull Public Schools for many years as a dedicated teacher of students in the gifted track. She served as the education chair at Congregation Bethel's Hebrew School for more years than she will admit to, where she has played key roles in forging the curriculum. And Jane was instrumental in the creation of Merkaz, our successful community high school, and she chaired the late committee for many, many years. She was also a key member of Bethel's search committees, responsible for some of the synagogue's most impactful hires, including our Rabbi, Rabbi Kormis, and our preschool and Hebrew school directors. In all of these roles, Jane has been so very effective. So this is how you inspire others to dream more, to learn more, and to do more. This is how you lead. Believe it or not, this is just really scratching the surface of the many ways in which Bob and Jane have given of themselves to our community. I would be, however, remiss if I didn't mention their involvement in the 20-year-old emissary program, which I'm sure you all know about. Because of their frequent trips to Israel to visit their daughter's family, Jane and Bob have been able to visit and/or contact many of these young men and women who have returned home from Fairfield. It's a personal touch that has really cemented the impact of the program. As many times as they have been recognized for their contributions to this community, you will not find two more humble, genuine, beautiful people. Susan and I, and many of you on this program tonight, feel so fortunate to have them as our friends. But Bob and Jane have never been just about themselves or even just about their friends. The roles they have played, the challenges they have stepped up for, and for the initiatives they have led, have been for the benefit of everyone on this cast, and many who are not. And that is why it is so fitting that the community showed its appreciation of their incredible example the way we are doing tonight. You cannot imagine how pleased Susan and I are to be able to introduce them to you yet again for another well-deserved honor. But before we do that, just one last point. During this pandemic that we've been living through, Jane and Liz Krebs, the president of Bethel, came up with the idea of bringing flowers to every Bethel member for Shabbat. She certainly has brightened all of our lives. And we have a gift for you from the community to commemorate this evening. And we hope that you'll display it and enjoy it for many years to come.
Thank you, Joel and Susan, for once again being such great friends and for pumping us up. And I'd like to take this opportunity also to thank the last major search committee at the Federation, who found and recommended David Weisberg to the Federation board that brought him on. And I would like to thank David for bringing together an amazing staff of professionals who are so competent, so absolutely professional, so wonderful to work with, and just so wonderful to know. Elise and Henry, I hope that in the not too distant future, you and I and Jane will get an opportunity to sit across the table from each other and toast this wonderful evening. As part of the original gala, we had been asked to talk about philanthropy. But I must say that I think everybody who's on the video and can see the video is philanthropic. So I'm just going to get personal a little bit. My mother was very much involved in Hadassah. And I'm one of the few people, I'll bet, as a result of my mother being so involved in Hadassah, that at my age remembers the name of the woman who started Hadassah. That would be Henrietta Zold. And why do I remember that? Because I don't think a day went by in our home when her name wasn't mentioned. And so I thank you all for Zooming this evening and for making tonight so very, very special for Jane and for me. And thank you again, Susan and Joel.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again, Susan and Joel. Since we prepared our remarks originally in February, so much has changed. So many things seem upside down. So much is so hard to understand and comprehend. But one of the things that has stayed constant and sustained us during these confusing times is this wonderful, caring Jewish community, this federation and our synagogue. The Jewish community has kept us all connected, engaged, supported, educated, and busy. Yes, very busy. You never walk alone in our community. Tonight is a perfect example. We are so grateful to be surrounded by all of you. We can't see you, but we know you are here. In addition to everyone that Bob has thanked, I have some personal thanks as well. First, to our daughters, Andrea and Lauren. We're so proud of the way you have woven our Jewish values into the fabric of your individual families. To our son-in-laws, David and Sharon, thank you for being such loving son-in-laws to both Bob and me. And to our grandchildren, what can I say? Gabby, Ethan, Inval, Mayan, and Elad, each of you light up our lives in indescribable ways. And now to Bob. We've been on this Jewish journey together since 1974. When we made our first trip to Israel, that UJA mission transformed our lives. It was then that we got involved in young leadership and became deeply committed to the mission of the Federation. And I guess you could say the rest is history. From the get-go, I loved being involved in committees to help shape policy and programs. I soon realized that synagogue life had to be integrated into the greater Jewish community, and there had to be a link and a deep connection to Israel. But it was Bob who showed me the importance and the personal responsibility each of us has to philanthropy. It was Bob who helped me understand how important it is to stretch and give more than we thought we really could. So it's with deep gratitude we say thank you to each contributor and each person here tonight on Zoom for sharing our values. And to everyone who worked so hard to make this Zoom Gala special and fun for all of us tonight, you are indeed an extraordinary and very thoughtful team. So it's with great humility we say thank you. Thank you again for this very great honor.
Thank you, Susan and Joel. Thank you, Jane and Bob. And now I'm so delighted to be able to welcome Liz and Moni Rouvain and Elise Meyer and Henry Feuerstein.
So we're here to honor Elise and Henry tonight. Elise and Henry were both born into families where engagement in the Jewish community was of paramount importance. All four of their parents of blessed memory held leadership positions in UJA and in their synagogue communities. From a young age, they both felt deeply committed to the Jewish community and became involved in Israel advocacy. In fact, they met in New York City in 1979 through UJA. Elise's love of Israel was ignited as a young teenager in the early 70s with the opportunity to assist on archaeological digs in the Galilee with cousins who were archaeologists there. At Brown University, Elise became involved with Israel advocacy and Hillel activities on campus, and through this found her love and talent for helping create opportunities and events that bring people together to engage with Jewish issues and causes. Over the years, she has been deeply engaged in Jewish women's issues. During the first Jewish Feminist Conference in Israel in 1988, she was thrilled to be a part of the very first group of women to pray with the Torah at the Western Wall. Henry's involvement began at MIT, where he led the UJA campaign for 3 years and was elected as a student member to the Board of Trustees of Combined Jewish Philanthropies of Boston. After law school at Columbia, he became involved in the Leadership Development Division of the New York UJA Federation, where he served as campaign chair. He was then elected to the board of UJA Federation and served on its distribution committee. Fun fact, Elise and Henry met in New York City in 1979 through UJA Federation Leadership Development Division. When they moved to Westport in 1991, having both served on UJA's national men's and women's cabinets, they both immediately became involved with the Jewish community, joining the Federation Board and joining 3 synagogues. Sometimes they joke that while others support animal shelters, they support Torah shelters. Over the last 20 years, Elise chaired big community events, including Israel at 50 at the Levitt Pavilion with Chava Alberstein and the Klasmatics, Israel at 60 with David Broza, who we were just privileged to hear, 3 Rockin' Women's Seders with Debbie Friedman, and most recently, 3 Jewish food festivals in Westport. She's quick to share credit with a cadre of friends for these historic events in our community. Henry served as president of the Jewish Community Endowment Foundation, a unique model that encompassed 16 constituent Jewish nonprofit agencies and the community at large. He also served on the board of Agudath Shalom in Stamford. He also served as men's campaign chair and on the allocations committee for many years at UJA Federation. Today, Henry serves on the Board of Trustees of the Jewish Board of Family and Children's Services in New York, the largest nonprofit provider of social services in New York, with a budget in excess of $250 million. Elise continues her deep connection to Brown, RISD, Hillel, where she served as board president and has been a trustee for 15 years. In addition to all of this, they maintain active memberships in 3 local synagogues, as well as 1 in Soho, New York City, where they have their second home. After all of these years of leadership and deep involvement, if you ask them what their biggest accomplishment is, I suspect that they would say that they are most proud that their adult children and their spouses are as deeply committed to Torah and the principles of Tikkun Olam as they are. Moni and I wish our dear friends Elise and Henry a very big, hearty, loving Mazel Tov. We'd like to share this award with you at this time, and we look forward to having big, real hugs in the near future.
Thank you so much, Liz and Moni. This means so much to us. You can't even imagine. We're here with our children in our house, as we all are. Thank you for joining this Zoom experience, and heartfelt thanks to so many of you here with whom we've worked side by side on every event and project. Your friendship, leadership, and extravagant support made everything possible. These are strange times indeed, times that will make organizations rethink the way we connect to issues and each other and search for new paths forward. 6 months ago, who would have ever thought you could have a successful event like this one without anybody even leaving their own homes? So I have a question. Will we ever go back to high heels? But I surely look forward to when we will all be together again. My focus in communal work has always been to help build intriguing doors of entry for new people to find their way in, and then to find their place within. With art, spirituality, food, and science, we can attract talented people with fresh ideas. I love the challenge of opening new doors, and I thrive on the energy of new ideas. New people joining experienced leadership grow our institutions to grow our future. Planning and producing events were exciting times, and through the process, I learned a lot about how much our organizations can affect our communities. We're living in a time when it's possible to know how to make so many decisions, but one decision is easy. Support our organizations like the Federation for Jewish Philanthropy, and also start new ones. Organizations allow us to pool our collective inspiration, initiative, and resources. Despite all these upheavals, I have full faith that though our institutions and organizations, we can continue to support those we've always helped while we find new ways to use our collectivity to reach out and help affect the changes that we know must happen. My experience has taught me to embrace the new and the different, to take exciting risks. I can't wait to continue to work together while we innovate and adapt. I'm passing it to Henry for the thank you part.
Well, hi everybody. This may sound like an Academy Award acceptance speech. To me, it does not get much better than that in receiving such a wonderful honor. And so my thank yous. First to my parents, that Liz mentioned before, who are no longer with us. They defined for me what Yiddishkeit means and what it means to be a part of a giving and caring Jewish community. I'm sorry that they are not here today sharing in this celebration. To my dear sister Ronnie Haylman, who most of you don't know, but preceded me here in Westport and helped put the Westport, the then called UJA campaign, on the map. She was so involved that you knew when she was coming because the license plate on her car read UJA1. To those who came before me, my sincerest gratitude for having paved the way and mentoring Elise and me in our early days after we moved to this community. Sandy and Larry Lefkowitz, Judy Kosky, my cousins Dick and Joyce Pauker, and so many others. To Jane and Bob, although our paths had not crossed until planning this event, I have come to learn how beloved you are in your community and inspiration for all of us. To our wonderful co-chairs, Liz and Moni, hi Liz, hi Moni, and Susan and Joel, and to the UJA staff, David, Janet, Stacy, and those behind the scenes, you had to plan and execute this event not once, but twice, with all that entails. No small tasks. To my wonderful, adorable Elise, whom we all know and love. Although I had a small part in the honor here tonight, she has been the main mover and shaker both here and in my life. I think those who know us know what I am talking about. And to my children, as Elise mentioned before, who are kind of sheltering with us, to my 4 children and my 3 grandchildren, who we adore and who have continued this tradition that we have tried to foster. And lastly, and most important, to all of you who are wonderful supporters of our Federation for Jewish Philanthropy, please continue and increase your support. It is crucial for those in our local community, as well as those in Jewish communities around the world who rely on us for support. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being a part of this wonderful evening.
So, good evening, everybody. My name is David Weisberg. I'm the CEO of our Jewish Federation. It's so good to be with all of you tonight, and thank you so much for joining us in this really unusual event. We were so excited to have this event back in March, and then obviously the world changed in a big way, and some things about this event changed in a big way. We're all enjoying it watching from home. But there were some things that were able to stay exactly the same. We have the same wonderful honorees. We have some really amazing guests coming up, and Michael Ian Black and Melba Wilson and Shannon Sarna, and music from Tony Perry, who you've heard before earlier, and Burgandy Williams, who you'll hear a little later. One thing that needed to change is that every year at our gala, we try to raise money for something special and something that we connect to our honorees. And this year, because Elise and Henry and Bob and Jane are such wonderful grandparents, we were going to try to raise a little money for our PJ Library program that provides Jewish content books to families with young children. When the COVID-19 crisis started, we said, you know what, it's not the right year to do a pitch for PJ Library, but each year we also create a special video for the cause that we're trying to ask you to help support. And we had actually already created that for this year, but we did something a little different. We're used to creating a video every year, but I had a brainstorm. I had an inspiration this year because we were trying to raise money for PJ Library, that instead of just creating a video, on a long ride, I came up with an idea that I would write a special children's book just for this event. And 48 hours later, I had written a story. I had hired an illustrator. The ball was rolling. We were so excited to present it to you. We needed someone to read the story to you. And I found an amazing young woman in this community. Some of you may know, a 17-year-old member of our Upper Fairfield County Jewish community from Weston, an Emmy Award winner as the voice of Peg in the PBS Kids series Peg Plus Cat, named Hayley Faith Negrin. And I asked Hayley to come together with our favorite fuzzy blue monster from Temple Shalom named Oogie. And so friends, I am really excited to present to you tonight our first ever episode of Upper Fairfield Friends Storytime.
Hi, I'm Hayley Faith Negrin. Welcome to Upper Fairfield Friends Storytime. I'm here today with my great friend Oogie. Say hi, Oogie.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, Oogie.
Hayley, can I ask you a question?
Of course, Oogie.
What book are you going to read to us today?
I'm so excited because today I'm going to be reading a great new story called PJ Day is Favorite Day.
Yay! I love PJs! Should I go put on my PJs now?
No, Oogie. This is about a different kind of PJ. How about I read the story and you can learn about it with all our other Upper Fairfield friends.
Okay, Hayley. But are you sure I can't put my PJs on now?
Maybe later, Oogie, maybe later. But for now, let's read this great story. PJ Library Day is Favorite Day. Written by David Weisberg, illustrated by Justin Dunn. Mail carrier Monique arrived at the post office on Monday morning to pick up her deliveries. It was PJ Library Day, the one day each month that her truck was overloaded with packages of children's books. That was mail carrier Monique's favorite day. On Monday, Jane and Bob were going to have lunch with their new friends Elise and Henry. All of their grandchildren would be arriving that day. That was Jane and Bob and Elise and Henry's favorite day too. Jane and Bob and Elise and Henry's grandchildren were traveling to see them by airplane from Israel and by train from Washington and by car from Roslyn. For Mayan, Inbal, Elad, Gabriella, and Ethan on the plane, Jacob and Aviva on the train, and little Arlo in the car, it was their favorite day too. As mail carrier Monique drove her truck through Upper Fairfield County, she dropped off Jewish children's books at over 600 homes in towns with names like Bridgeport, Easton, Fairfield, Monroe, Norwalk, Reading, Ridgefield, Trumbull, Weston, Westport, Wilton, and more. For the children in those homes, it was their favorite day too. Mail carrier Monique enjoyed delivering PJ Library books to children because she knew they were gifts from her community through its Jewish Federation and from wonderful people at a place called the Harold Grinspoon Foundation. When mail carrier Monique arrived at the home where Jane and Bob and Elise and Henry were having lunch, they invited her inside to join them. Mail carrier Monique knew Elise always made the best food. Mail carrier Monique brought in packages of PJ Library children's books. Jane, who had been a school teacher, was grateful that such beautiful Jewish books had arrived before the grandchildren. As mail carrier Monique said goodbye and walked back to her truck, she smiled, seeing Mayan, Inbal, Elad, Gabriella, Ethan, Jacob, Aviva, and little Arlo all arriving together. Mayan, Inbal, Elad, Gabriella, and Ethan hugged and kissed their Safta Jane and their Saba Bob, and Jacob, Aviva, and little Arlo hugged and kissed their Nana, Elise, and their Baba, Henry. As they sat together reading their new PJ Library books, they all smiled, even little Arlo, knowing it was their favorite day ever. On that day, there were smiles in houses throughout the Upper Fairfield County Jewish community, knowing that with everyone helping to make these gifts possible, PJ Library Day could be a favorite day for children, parents, Sabas, Saftas, Nanas, Babas, and mail carrier Monique for years to come. The end.
I love that book, Hayley.
I love that book too, Oogie.
You know what I think would be wonderful, Hayley?
What, Oogie?
If all of our Upper Fairfield friends made sure that mail carrier Monique could continue to deliver Jewish books to all the children in the community.
Me too, Oogie, me too.
And you know what else I think would be wonderful, Hayley?
What's that, Oogie?
If I can put on my PJs now!
Okay, Oogie. But first, let's thank all our Upper Fairfield friends for listening to today's story and for everything they do to support our PJ Library program.
Thank you, everyone.
Until next time, thank you for joining us for Upper Fairfield Friends Storytime. Goodbye!
Goodbye!
Thank you, Hayley, Faith, and Oogie, for that very wonderful reading. I want to bring back Jane and Bob and Elise and Henry. I hope that they'll be joining me on screen in a moment. There's Jane and Bob. There's Elise and Henry. You are now immortalized.
That was so wonderful. Thank
We're now immortalized in the world of children's literature. Jane and Bob and Elise and Henry and all the grandchildren, including little Arlo. And so we got
Baby, that was wonderful.
Yes,
You
Jane?
never cease to amaze us.
So we've got a special surprise for you. Everybody got this bag. Everyone should have gotten delivered a package, and that had a cookbook, and it had Michael Ian Black's book and some of Melba's recipe cards and the journal. And it also had an envelope that if you were really well behaved, it told you weren't allowed to open it until we told you could. And so everybody, you can open up that envelope right now. I'm gonna open up mine as well. And each and every one of you, very own copy of PJ Library Day, his favorite day, that you can read to your own children and grandchildren. Elise and Henry and Bob and Jane, we've given you some extra copies, whether you want to give them to your family or put them up on eBay. That's up to you. But we hope you'll enjoy it for many years to come. And now to shift a little bit, and I want to keep Elise and Henry and Jane and Bob up on the screen for this, because I said each year at the gala, we do try to raise a little bit of extra money in honor of our wonderful honorees. And I should say, first of all, going in, and I've told Jane and Bob and Elise and Henry this is already our highest grossing gala ever. And we're so grateful to all of you out there who've supported the gala this year, in a year that we really need it, in a year that our federation, in really uncertain times, has tried to do more. Because we know that our job is to harness the community's tzedakah to help enable our organizations that are on the front line making a difference in so many ways. And so the special thing that we're doing in the gala this year is our federation board has identified a matching fund of $15,000. And we want to give you the opportunity tonight to make contributions to support COVID-19 relief for organizations in our Jewish community, not the Federation specifically, both organizations that are on the front line making a difference, like Jewish Senior Services and Shoki Jewish Family Service. Our Merkaz Jewish Community High School has stepped forward to do amazing things. All of our congregations are making such a difference, and all of our organizations who are simply uncertain as to what lies ahead this year. So we want to give you an opportunity to make contributions tonight to COVID-19 relief in this community. You have an opportunity to direct your contributions to any one of a list of more than 25 organizations, and the Federation will match your contributions dollar for dollar to those organizations up to a total of $15,000. If we exceed $15,000, which I hope we'll do, we'll distribute it pro rata based on the contributions that we've received. So you can do two things, and we don't ask you to leave the broadcast now. You have until 5 p.m. tomorrow evening to make your contribution. You can do that by going to fjpmatch.org. But if you don't have a pen, if you can't write that down right now, as soon as this gala is over, we're going to send you an email with a link so that you can make that contribution to an organization in this community that you care about, to your congregation. You can divide up your contribution between 10 different organizations if you want to, and we'll match all of them. And let's do it in honor of Bob and Jane and Elise and Henry, who have made such a difference in our community. And in this unusual gala, at this unusual time, because of this crisis that's ahead of us, let's pull together to show more relief and more support to our community. So Elise, Henry, Bob, and Jane, both thank you for good humor about my children's book, and thank you for inspiring everyone who's going to give tonight to support this important cause. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And now we're going to say goodbye to Elise and Henry and to Jane and Bob. And I have the really unique pleasure of introducing our guest host for tonight, who is just like Hayley Faith Negrin, a member of our Upper Fairfield County Jewish community. We were delighted to connect with him for the first time about a year and a half ago, when he, in fact, came to read a story for our PJ Library program, because in addition to being known for comedy series like The State and movies like Wet Hot American Summer, and in many appearances on late night TV, and really wonderful books for adults, like the one, by the way, that we included in your bag, which is called Navel Gazing, which I just finished reading this weekend, which not only made me laugh a lot, but I was really, really moved by. He's additionally a children's author who's written books like I'm Bored and I'm Sad, and was so kind to share those, share reading one of those books with children in our community. So while his books are called I'm Sad and I'm Bored, I hope that he won't leave you sad or bored. He certainly didn't leave me that when I had the opportunity to meet him and others at Melba's in Harlem. in what was a few months ago, but seems like 10 years ago. Please join me in welcoming our very special guest host, Michael Ian Black. Thank you, Michael.
Well, thank you, David. That was very, very kind of you. And I want to offer my congratulations to Elise and Henry and Jane and Bob as well. As David just said, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, I'm an author, and I live in Upper Fairfield, just like he said, in Redding, Connecticut, which is, it's a lot like Westport, minus everything. Westport has stuff. We have no stuff. A big night for us in Reading is remembering the Netflix password. Me sitting here right now talking into my laptop is the most excitement I have had in months. Not only did I get dressed up for tonight's event for the first time in months, I got dressed for the first time in months. So this is big doings for me here tonight. In Reading, we think about Westport the way Canada thinks about the United States, like a big community filled with people who are much richer than us. And in Westport, you probably think about Reading the same way the United States thinks about Canada. You don't. But I have lived here in Reading and in Connecticut for, gosh, I guess 17 years now. And I have developed a lot of pride about my home state. I travel a lot. And the number one thing people say when I tell them I live in Connecticut is they'll say, I've never been there. Number two is, I think I drove through there once. So you can feel the enthusiasm for Connecticut wherever you go. As everybody's been saying, like, it has been a crazy few months. There's been a lot of downsides to it. On the other hand, there have been some silver linings. For example, how nice is it to go to a fancy gala tonight and not have to go anywhere? I love this. It's an early show, 7 o'clock. We're going to be out of here and done by 8:30. Nobody has to get in their car. Nobody has to go anywhere. You can be as drunk as you want. I'm hammered. You have to find your silver lining, given the circumstances. And we have seen so much over the last few months that has been grim and terrible, but so much of that has been counterbalanced with generosity and energy, and most importantly, so many homemade baked goods. And if you are paying attention to the news, a piece of very, very good news just came out from the CDC. They just said that all calories consumed during pandemics don't count, which is fabulous. So I hope everybody at home tonight is watching with a big slice of chocolate cake or 3. And food has played such an important role over the last few months. At first, it was people sending food to the front lines of medical workers during the initial COVID surge. There have been images of automobiles lined up for miles to collect food from food banks. We've seen restaurants struggling to adapt. During the Black Lives Matter protests, we've seen food become political. I mean, food has always been political, as people from around the food world have raised their voices in support of this long overdue movement. Food is fun and family. It is also fuel. It is fuel to march, to serve, to celebrate, to mourn. For cultures around the world, food is love. And I am so pleased to be here tonight with all of you and the Federation of Jewish Philanthropy to discuss food with our special guests, Melba Wilson, who says she was born, bred, and buttered in Harlem, where she still lives and where she continues to serve her community as the owner of Melba's Restaurant, a New York landmark frequented by music, TV, and movie stars, New York City's elite, locals, and travelers from around the world. The winner of countless awards, she is also a cookbook author, a philanthropist, and the president of the board of directors of the New York City Hospitality Alliance. Our other guest is Shannon Sarna. She is the creator of the Jewish food blog, The Nosher, which celebrates everything from challah to schmaltz to kosher wine in a can. Shannon's writings and recipes have been featured in Bake From Scratch magazine, Parade magazine, Tablet magazine, JTA News, New Jersey Monthly magazine, Vine Pair, and Modern Loss. And fun Shannon trivia, which has to be said always, is that her grandfather invented the orange drink Tang. And I checked, Tang is kosher. Her first cookbook, Modern Jewish Baker, Challah, Babka, Bagels, and More, was released in September 2017 by Countryman Press. Melba Wilson and Shannon Sarna, hello.
Hi. Great introduction.
Hi, Michael. Thank you.
So since you said chocolate cake, I just happened to bake some today. So
there you go.
Kudos.
So you just need 2 more pieces to make the night complete.
I got you. I have you, Michael.
And I was ahead of the game also, Michael. Sorry. It's a long day with my kids. Every day is a long day with my kids.
I was just going to say, every day during a pandemic is a long day with your kids. So I met both of you when a group of us led by David went to Melba's restaurant at the end of February. And it was it was a joyous evening. It was filled with conversation, music, and of course, amazing food. And as everybody has said, I mean, since then, the world is such a different place than it was that night. And I wanted to start by asking the simplest of questions, because I feel like it's a question that people are asking now with a new sense of urgency and actually wanting to hear the answer. So I will start with Melba. Melba, how are you?
You know, Michael, thank you so much for asking that question. Before I answer that, I would like to congratulate Jane and Bob, Elise and Henry for the well-deserved honor this evening. You know, it's not every day that someone cares enough and thinks enough about people to honor them. So I think that when people put you on that pedestal, and it's a well-deserved pedestal, that is something to acknowledge. So kudos and congratulations to you. David, Michael, Shannon, it's great seeing you guys once again. I saw you guys at the restaurant, and you're right, Michael, things have changed. Who ever thought that us seeing each other, 4 months ago? Mm-hmm. It would be such a huge difference. It's almost like a triple effect from the president doing all of the crazy things that he has done to divide this country, which was already divided. Of course, COVID-19, it's almost like we are awake and living within the nightmare. And then, of course, the racial injustice that has happened in this country for well over 400 years. It's like the triple effect. However, I do want to thank our Jewish brothers and sisters that stand with us in solidarity. That means the world to us, to have people protesting beside us, to have people putting messages on social media, and just to have people asking, how are you? My faith tells me that this too shall pass and that this is something that had to happen. Of course, I don't agree with this, with the looting and all of the other negative things that have happened. However, I do think it had to happen because, you know, we prayed before, we marched before, we sat down and we conversed before. And I think something had to happen so that we could collectively sit down and be heard. While it's a difficult time in America, I do believe that a change is going to come from this. But it's only coming about because people from all over the world are uniting. And people are saying enough is enough. How am I? I'm okay. I'm hopeful. I have faith. I have trust. But I have that because I know that my friends, like you guys, are standing beside us in solidarity.
Well, Melba, I just want to say a big part of my understanding of Judaism and being Jewish is a fight for justice. And that justice extends to everybody. It has everything to do with being Jewish and nothing to do with being Jewish. We have to extend our own sense of justice and our commitment to equality to everybody. So this fight, in my mind, has always been as much a Jewish fight as it is an African-American fight. And I feel personally invested in it. Shannon, I'll ask you the same question. How are you?
Well, now my makeup's gonna be all over my face because I'm crying. I think the last time I was actually out of the house was that dinner.
Wow.
No, I'm just joking. Oh my God. I have 3 kids in the house. I have to leave. I think that it's like this roller coaster of emotions, right? Like we talk about it as parents a lot, but there's moments of like, we're healthy, our kids are okay, thank God, thank God, thank God. And there's moments of like, everything is terrible. People are dying, people are being killed. It's just like everything. So I think finding the right points is a daily struggle, even in my own bubble, just of dedicating myself to in solidarity and finding ways to do that in big and small ways, and finding gratitude, and then also finding the moments where I can go in my closet and scream? Mommy, some mommy juice. I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank God. Look, my kids are healthy. I have a house. Thank God. Everything is fine. Thank you for asking.
Well, you just mentioned how you want to find ways to be inclusive, big ways, small ways, and that inclusivity isn't limited to the current struggles that we're facing. Shannon, how do you think food in particular unites a community? And then how do we use food to welcome others into a community?
I think food brings people together. I think food literally can bring people to the table together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Common point. Everyone loves food, except skinny bitches, but I don't care about that. Everyone loves food. Everyone has food stories. Everyone has food memories, smells of their, and we can share those. It brings us together. But I feel like inclusivity is a really important thing that I really love to talk about, and it's on the forefront of what I'm talking about as an editor, and something that's been part of what I've been doing at the Nosher for a long time, which is that the Jewish community has never looked like one thing, and so our food has never been one thing, right? Most American Jews are Ashkenazi, but over 50%, in fact, closer to 75% of Jews of a millennial age only have one Jewish parent, which means that me, because I'm much younger than you, we are we are diverse, right? Like we are Chinese and Jewish, we are Puerto Rican and Jewish, we are Black and Jewish, I am Italian and Jewish, which is totally subtle since I'm never talking with my hands. And we're Sephardi, we're Ashkenazi, we're Israeli, we're Ethiopian, we are Syrian, we are everything. And so I am always trying to tell those stories and to share those voices. And I think now is a moment where we hold ourselves accountable and we make sure that we recommit ourselves to using our platforms to continue to elevate those voices and to be even more inclusive than we already are. And I think we also use our platforms to connect with other people who love food and to share those stories and amplify them. So that's at least what I'm thinking about right now and really working on personally and professionally. And I love food. I love food. I can't wait to bring my husband to your restaurant, Melba.
Thank you.
Well, along those lines, Melba, the thing that really struck me about your restaurant was exactly what Shannon's talking about, how welcoming it is. I mean, it has such a warm glow to it. The food is comforting and hearty and plentiful and delicious. You grew up in the kitchen of your aunt's restaurant, the famous Sylvia of Sylvia's. Yes. Did that experience inform Melba's?
Yeah, my aunt Sylvia really laid the blueprint for me. Growing up in Sylvia's, really, my aunt used to say, this is what you do, but more importantly, this is what you don't do. So she really encouraged me. She served as a mentor until the very end. But she told me that if she could do it, I could do it. And that was important. It was important to know that there were no boundaries. One of the things I love the most about food, and I'm going to piggyback on what Shannon said, is that food is a common denominator. Food unites us. Food does not discriminate. It doesn't care about your racial background, your ethnicity. Food doesn't care about your financial situation. It just doesn't care. It doesn't care about your education or lack thereof. Food is a unifier. That's what it is. It's also a wonderful way to tell a story. It's a wonderful way to bring people into your culture, into your family, and into your history. So food is everything to me. It's my love, but it's also my life.
We are going to take a break in this conversation for a song, and then we'll come back and chat some more. And so I am so excited to introduce our next musical guest. Burgandy Williams is an Atlanta native whose talents reach from the soundstage to the main stage in singing and acting. She has sung for foreign consulates in Paris, Korea, Kuwait. Burgandy has had feature roles in The King of Glory at the Atlanta Civic Center, Jesus Christ Superstar Gospel at the Alliance Theater, and in the Martin Luther King Jr.'s Monumental Memories at Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. And coolest of all, she has opened for Babyface in concert. We are so happy she's here to sing for us tonight. Burgandy Williams.
Hello, Upper Fairfield County. My name is Burgandy Williams, and thank you for virtually having me on your special night. I would like to give a special congratulations to Elise, Henry, Jane, and Bob. I think with all these things going on nowadays, we all need a little saving. So thank you to the Jewish Federation for always being willing to rescue so many. We could all use a little rescuing nowadays. But if you know the song, and I know many of you do, go ahead and put your fingers together, snap a little bit, put your hands together, and you can sing along. Rescue me, or take me in your arms, rescue me. I want to feel your charms, 'cause I'm lonely and I'm blue. I need you and your love too. Come on and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. 'Cause I need you by my side. Can't you see that I'm lonely? Rescue me. Come take me in your heart. Take your love and conquer every part. 'Cause I'm lonely and I'm blue. I need you and your love too. Come on and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. 'Cause I need you by my side. Can't you see that I'm lonely? Rescue me. I hope you're enjoying yourselves out there, making the best of everything.
awesome. That was really great. I want to continue the conversation. We were talking kind of in general terms about food and community and how food can unite people and bring people together. But now I want to get really specific, and I want to play a game of association. I'll start with you, Melba. What food do you most associate with childhood, your childhood?
Oh, with my childhood, I would have to say that the food that I most associate that gives me warm, wonderful memories would have to be my Grandma Mia's creamy macaroni and cheese.
How close is the macaroni and cheese at Melba's to Grandma's macaroni and cheese?
It's the macaroni and cheese at Melba's was inspired by my grandmother's macaroni and cheese. My grandmother's from Hemingway, South Carolina. And so everything was done over food. Every announcement, every anniversary, every disappointment, like everything was done over food. And food was like bragging rights. Being able to make the best of anything, you know, it was like a crown of glory. So my grandmother's macaroni and cheese, that's the first thing.
Were there ever fights where it was my grandma's macaroni and cheese is better than your grandma's macaroni and cheese?
Definitely. You know, it's something to be able to soothe a soul by using food. And, you know, my grandmother definitely did that. Being that she had a huge garden in Hemingway, South Carolina, you know, I always told her that she really coined the phrase farm to table, but it was way before the phrase ever came out. But yeah, it would have to be my grandma's macaroni and cheese. However, Bobby Flay is the Southern Fried Chicken eggnog waffles. That's the star at the restaurant. Right?
What about you, Shannon? Associations with childhood, a food that just brings you right back.
Not so far off from mac and cheese. It's kind of like the Eastern European Jewish version. It's a common dish for Polish families. It's egg noodles and cottage cheese. And some have it sweet and some have it savory. My dad made it for me with butter and pepper and salt. And his grandfather made it for him that way. My mother-in-law grew up eating it, and now I feed it to my kids. And it is like simple peasant food, right? Like there is nothing fancy about this, but it's so comforting. And it's really this like beloved dish that so many Jews love. And it really just brings me back to my dad making that for me for lunch and a homemade egg cream. And I love that my kids love it too. It really is like, ugh, it's like indescribable. Like, why is a bowl of noodles and cottage cheese? When my kids are, I'm like, you like it? You like it? It's good, right? I know.
Here's one. What about a food that you associate, Shannon, most strongly with falling in love?
Oh, I don't know. Falling in love. Oh, I hope my husband's not going to watch this. My eggplants. My husband spent a summer in culinary school in Italy. I guess should really surprise nobody. And the first time he had me over for Shabbat lunch, first of all, he was from a modern Orthodox background. And I thought I was coming over for like a very traditional Shabbat lunch with like, you know, kugel and chalent and scotch and I don't know, whatever Jewish men serve. And like the Michigan football game was blaring and he's like searing eggplant and serving it with like pecorino and Italian honey. So, and that's when I was kind of like, oh, I think this one is probably a little different.
Yeah, that's what I find so moving. It's like food obviously is associated with smell, but we think about smells and they bring us back to particular things. But foods, the experience of eating a food or a dish can bring us right back to those times as well. What about you, Melba? Falling in love, a food?
Falling in love, I would have to say two things. One thing would be our traditional red velvet cake, because it's the color of love, which is red, and with the buttercream icing on the outside. It's the contrast of the two colors. And when I think about love, sometimes I think about contrast, you know, opposites attracting each other, but also complementing one another. So that bold, bright red with the cocoa powder in it, which is delicious. And then the creamy, beautiful buttercream icing on it. Oh my God, like to die for. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But I also think of love for my family. And one of the things that I do when I love, with my son who's 20 now, is I love making him homemade biscuits. It's just something about kneading the dough and putting my hands all in it and only using white lily flour, because my grandmother said, Melba, you better not make no biscuits unless you use white lily flour. So white lily flour, butter, and buttercream, a little bit of salt gets the job done.
One more association. What food do you think you will end up associating most strongly with this crazy year? Melba.
With this crazy year, well, it can't be beef because where's the beef, right? When Wendy's runs out of beef, then there's a problem.
Yep.
So it definitely won't be anything beef inspired. So it would have to be chicken. Chicken is my go-to. It's my feel-good food. I can make it 1,000,010 ways. I can eat it cold. I can eat it hot. And it's my comfort food. Mm-hmm. It's when I'm sitting down in a corner and I'm reading one of your books. Wow, yeah. Michael, I can, flip through the pages and take a chicken leg and just get busy on it. So, and when I think about this year and how crazy it has been, I do need something to relax me. So a nice piece of chicken and a good book, that's my go-to.
What about you, Shannon? 2020, what food will you associate with it?
I feel calmer just listening to Melba talk about eating chicken and reading a book, I just want to say. But I mean, there's no question for me that 2020 is the year of bread. And while I really hate pandemic and everything else that's going on this year, I've been waiting for the year of carbs to come back ever since. All these bitches are all about the gluten-free, okay? I've been waiting and I'm ready and I'm just answering questions. Bing, bing. Oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? I'm there. I'm ready. I've been ready for it. And I'm so happy that it's finally the year of carbs.
Is there a specific bread that you have made during this pandemic in these last few months that has really upped your bread game?
I've been baking sourdough for a couple of years, but I've invested a lot of time in upping my game a little bit. I got a new bread baking, this big pan kind of that creates this hot dome. I've ordered some specialty flours, which is life-changing. So I'm definitely a sourdough jumping on the bandwagon, but I mean, look, challah is my first bread love. And I've been not only baking a lot of challah, but I usually make a very small batch every week for my family because who needs all of that? But I've been doubling it and most weeks trying to deliver it to a family in our community who just needs a little love and support. And there's a lot of people who need love and support. So just trying to share what I have in the form of bread.
Yeah, great. What food, Shannon, do you love that might surprise people?
Can I say bacon?
I think bacon might be the perfect answer.
I don't know. I mean, yes, I would. There's so many things I love. There's so many things I love. But yeah, bacon, sure. Bacon.
I mean, everybody loves bacon, but look, you're at a Jewish gala. I get it. What about you, Melba? Is there a food that you really love that might surprise people?
I don't know if it'll surprise people, but I'm a big sushi aficionado. I love sushi. So yes, Black girls do eat sushi.
Have you ever made sushi?
I've never made sushi, but I've eaten enough that I really could make it if I put my mind to it. I really could make it. But Shannon, I think I might have to get down on some challah bread with you, but I'm going to spell it Holla. What about that?
I'm into it. And it would be my honor to follow with you. So
that's really funny.
Thanks, Michael.
Melba, can you remember, because it might have might be a while for some of us. Can you remember the last great meal that you had that somebody else prepared for you?
Wow, that's a good question. A lot of my friends are always nervous about cooking for me.
I'm sure they are.
Really are. But I love eating out, but I like simple foods. You know, I like going to my friends' homes and just eating untraditional foods. So it'd probably have to be a meal that my son's godmother made for me. And it was up in Catskill, and it was very rustic. And Aunt Lou has a wonderful garden, and she picked some zucchini and tomatoes from her garden. And she did a grilled salmon, which, you know, salmon is a very common fish, but she put a wonderful herb crusted it with herbs that she picked out of her garden.
Nice.
So yeah, just simple foods. It roasted the vegetables, like something very, very minute with some quinoa. But for me, it's about the love and the preparation that really goes into a meal that means everything to me. So it was simple, it was unexpected, and I walked in and she had everything beautifully laid out on the table. And Aunt Lou is 88, so it was just an honor to sit down and fellowship over a great meal.
Oh, what a lovely story. Shannon, I have an etiquette question for you, and this might be our last question.
Yeah.
You're throwing a dinner party, okay? After dinner, as the hostess of the party, do you want the guests to pitch in with the dishes, yes or no?
Oh, I have a hard and fast rule on this one. If it's your first time at my house or your second time at my house, you're still a guest. No, you can't help. Anything after that, I'll let people help. But first 2 times, sit your ass down. No.
That's actually a great rule. First couple times, no. Third time, get your ass in the kitchen, get some soap on the sponge. Melba, what about you? When you throw a dinner party, are guests expected to pitch in with the dishes?
I don't like to wash dishes myself. And
So you're like, come on.
I remember growing up with my parents, I would say, why don't you guys get a dishwasher? All of my friends have dishwashers. And my dad would go, we have one. Get in the kitchen and wash the dishes. So, but I'm also very, very anal. And I like to make sure my dishes are clean. So I don't like anybody else washing my dishes. Yeah.
Well, Shannon Sarna, Melba Wilson, what a great conversation this has been about food and community. And you can see how common this stuff is, how just food brings people together immediately. We all share so many common references with food, whether it's potato cheese, mac and cheese, or the Jewish mac and cheese, kugel. I mean, it's just, there's so much overlap in everybody's experience with food, and it's great to see you again, to hear your voices again, and to come together for a night of celebration. So thank you both so very much, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Good seeing you, Shannon.
Nice to see you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Melba. Michael, thank you. And I want to thank really everybody who made this evening such a success. Everybody who filled up this gala journal tonight, which while it says March 12th on it, we're celebrating on June 11th. I want to give a special thank you. And if we were all there in the same place in person, I would ask you to stand up and give her a round of applause to Janet Wainwright, who's our development manager, who manages every possible organizational detail that makes an evening like this a success. Michael, thank you so much. Michael, I want to once again thank you. Just like when I read your book, I expected to laugh, but I also shed a few tears. This conversation was very much the same. What you weren't aware of tonight is this was not just your being the guest host of our annual gala, but since you are a member of our Upper Fairfield Jewish community, this was also your audition for our nominating committee, who I assume may be asking you to join our board of directors or chair the campaign or something like that very soon, since you certainly helped us raise a lot of money and make a great impact tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, David. This was really fun, and thanks again for dinner in February. That was delicious.
Oh God, and I hope for all of us for whom Melba's is a place that's okay to eat, I hope we can all meet there someday in celebration. For those who it's not, I hope you'll find a great recipe in Shannon's cookbook or on one of Melba's recipe cards that'll fill you with warmth and nourishment of all kinds. And speaking of warmth and nourishment that's brought to us not only through food, but also through music, I think it's appropriate that we finish with a closing song. I was so moved to have Burgandy on earlier, who we first saw together at Melba's, and now I'm happy to welcome back my old friend from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Tony Perry. And please stick through, Tony, because after the end, we've got all kinds of mazel tovs from all kinds of friends and family for Elise and Henry and Jane and Bob, who are really the stars of the show tonight. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy and have a great night.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so special about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. Ooh, and when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. 'Cause it wasn't because I didn't know enough, 'cause I knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. And I hope that you are having the time of your life. We'll think twice. It's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think you are? Ha ha ha! Bless your soul. You really think you're in control? Well, I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me. My heroes had the heart to live their lives out and live. And all I remember is thinking, I wanna be like them. Ooh, ooh. Ever since I was little, it looked like fun. And it's no coincidence I've come. And I can die when I'm done. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Possibly.
Elise, Henry, Jane, and Bob, mazel tov on your honors. Yasher koach for all the work that you do for the Jewish community of Upper Fairfield County. Thank you so very much.
A hearty congratulations, Henry and Elise.
Thanks for all you do for our community. This is a well-deserved award.
Hi, Jane and Bob. We are so proud of what you have done for the Federation and the Jewish community and the community at large. We're very happy to count you as one of our dearest and closest friends. We love you very much.
Elise and Henry, Mazel Tov on your accomplishments. We wish we could all be together to celebrate the wonderful things that you guys have achieved for our community. We're proud of you, and we look forward to celebrating together very soon.
We love you both, L'chaim, and we'll see you soon.
To our dear friends, Jane and Bob, we want to thank you for all your tireless effort, your hard work, and commitment to the Jewish community. We hope that you continue in good health to make our community and our world a better place. Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov.
My very quick Mazel Tov, congratulations. Elise and Henry, Bob and Jane, all that you do for the community. No way does a few seconds capture a lifetime of dedication and love. All the best.
Congrats, Elise and Henry, on this well-deserved award. Over the many years of our friendship, you have been an inspiration to us and have served as role models in our Jewish community.
We admire your hard work, dedication, enthusiasm, and will continue to look to you for guidance on all things Jewish in Fairfield County and beyond. Love you guys. Mazel Tov.
Hi, Jane and Bob. Congratulations. Brian and I have been on many committees with both of you over the years, and we can appreciate firsthand how committed you are to our Jewish community.
Mazel Tov on this well-deserved honor.
Elise and Henry, Jane and Bob, we want to thank you for the enormous contribution you've made to our Jewish community and the community at large for years after year after year. Thanks so much. Sorry we can't be with you in person. Mazel tov.
Hey, Arlo, what do you think about Nana and Baba Henry?
Congratulations to our well-deserving honorees, especially Bob and Jane, who we've known and admired for many years.
Thank you for everything you all have done to enrich our community.
Cheers to you.
Mazel Tov to Jane and Bob.
And to our dear friends, Elise and Henry, sending virtual hugs.
Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov.
Congratulations, Jane, Bob, Elise, and Henry. Thank you so much for all you do for our community here and around the world. Your love for life shines through your generosity and kindness and care for others. You all make the world a better place.
Hi, Lisa and Henry.
We're so proud of you.
And privileged to be your friends.
Keep inspiring us and keeping us a part of your life.
Mazel Tov, we love you. Mwah.
Mwah.
A toast to our dear friends, Bob and Jane, two people who have dedicated themselves and worked tirelessly to make our community a better place for everyone. So proud of you both. We love you the most.
Susan and Joel.
Bye.
Elise and Henry, Jane and Bob, Mazel Tov to you. We are sorry we can't be there to celebrate in person, but on behalf of the board and the staff of Shoki Jewish Family Service, we are thrilled to be able to participate in this gala, and we wish you and the Federation much continued success in all of your endeavors, and thank you very much for all you do for us.
Mazel Tov, Henry and Elise. Have a great evening. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dearest Jane and Bob, I am so thrilled that your community is recognizing you tonight for the extraordinary, fantastic, caring work that you have done over the years. I am so proud to be your forever friend and wish you only the best.
and Baba Godot. I've been allowed 15 seconds to say how much I admire you in every way. Simply, the world is a better place because you make a difference every day.
Congratulations, honorees. We are so happy for you and appreciative of everything you do. Thank you.
Congratulations, Elise and Henry.
We so appreciate your commitment to our community, to Minnie, to family, and we love you guys.
We love you guys.
Congratulations to Elise, Henry, and Jane and Bob. I wish that we could have all been there together this evening, but virtual is what it's going to have to be. So virtually, I want to say congratulations, and it's a wonderful honor, and you guys definitely deserve it.
Thank you for all that you have taught me. I love coming to your house and making challah. Congratulations on your honor. We love you!
Mazel tov on this exciting, well-deserved, and wonderful honor. Thank you for everything you do in our Jewish community. I wish you nothing but health and happiness. Thank you. Mazel tov.
Congratulations to all of our honorees, and a very hearty thank you for all that you have done over the years, and especially for what you are doing in this very unique year. Congratulations, Mazel Tov.
Congratulations, Elise. Your vitality and your goodness hasn't changed since I met you in 1972, close to 50 years ago. By the way, I think we were 6 years old at the time. Huh?
Mom and Dad, Bob and Jane, Saba and Safta, we're so happy for you to be honored in this way. You deserve it so much. We are wishing a mazel tov to the honorees and to the co-chairs. We are so happy to be here to celebrate with you.
Mazel tov! Congratulations, Jane and Bob, Elise and Henry.
Thank you for all that you do for our Jewish community.
You inspire us.
Hi, Jane and Bob. Congratulations on this wonderful, magnificent honor. We're so thrilled to be sharing this evening with you.
We look forward to celebrating with you on many, many more happy occasions like this, and we just want to let you know that we love you very much.
Dear Mom and Dad, congratulations on this great honor. Thank you so much for sharing a lifetime love of Judaism and your commitment to Jewish causes with us.
You inspire us with your Jewish leadership, and we love you so much.
Mazel tov, we love you.
Mwah.
Elise, Henry, Jane, and Bob, congratulations. You deserve this special honor for your tireless efforts to our community.
We thank you for all you do. You're an inspiration to us all. Mazel tov.
L'chaim.
Mazal Tov, Elise and Henry and Jane and Bob. You are such wonderful role models for our Jewish community. You lead by example, and we are so lucky to have you as part of our Federation family. I wish you the best tonight and always. Sending love. Mwah.
Henry and Elise, Bob and Jane, our community is so blessed to have you.
Mazal Tov.
Hi, Bob, Jane, Elise, and Henry. Congratulations and Mazel Tov on this honor. Unfortunately, we can't be with you in person, but Rita and I look forward to celebrating with you virtually. All the best, and hope everyone's safe and well.
Hi, Jane and Bob, Elise and Henry. I am delighted to wish you a Mazel Tov on tonight's gala. Long time in coming. And to tell you that the world needs more leaders like you. And thank you for setting an example in our community.
Hi all, this is Robert Altschuler, and I am so proud to be a member of the Gala Committee in honor of Henry and Elise and Jane and Bob. And while I don't know Jane and Bob personally, I do know of you. But Henry and Elise, I can only give you my fondest wishes and know that you have earned this honor with every day following through on tzedakah and being a part of the Jewish community here and everywhere else in the United States.
Elise and Henry, Jane and Bob, I've known all of you since I moved here in 2006. And you all individually and as a Fab Four exemplify what it means to be dedicated to community. Thank you, Mazal Tov, and Kol Hakavod.
Mazel Tov, Elise and Henry, Jane and Bob, on this well-deserved honor. We're so excited for you and your families, and we wish you a huge Mazel Tov and lots of love.
Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Kormis here. We'd like to take a moment to wish a warm and heartfelt Mazel Tov to our honorees, to Elise and Henry, and particularly to our own Jane and Bob. Mazel Tov to you, and thank you for the wonderful things that you are doing on behalf of our community, and you, Bob and Jane, on behalf of our synagogue congregation, Bethel. Mazel Tov.
Jane and Bob, Elise and Henry, I want to congratulate you on this very special and well-deserved honor. The four of you, in addition to being so incredibly generous in so many ways, are really very much my local family, and I genuinely love you, and I'm so grateful for all you do. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronnie Heyman. I am very fortunate to be Henry Feuerstein's sister, and very, very proud of my brother and my sister-in-law Elise on the wonderful honor that you are bestowing upon them tonight. I'm sorry that they don't get the full benefit of a social celebration, but they are really not about that. They're about results and what the two of them have tirelessly done for Westport Weston Wilton UJA Federation over the past 3 decades at least. And not only are they wonderful parents and grandparents and community leaders, but they are fantastic siblings. So I love them and I congratulate them, and Henry, our parents, would be so proud.
Don't go nowhere, and I don't care. All your kisses worth waiting for, babe. Daddy, 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 I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, me and my radio, babe. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love.